Alright, so right now I wanted to basically talk about something that's very important to me and I guess sort of very controversial about me. So for the past 2 years, I've been going around not only at school, but outside of school. Sorry, I'm messing with my dog. He wants to play with me. But like I was saying, not only at school, but both outside of school, uh, at different events I'm at, whenever I meet new people, I still do the same thing. But basically, it's about the whole I'm white thing. And I just want to talk about that for the next couple of minutes. So, basically, I'm going to go give you a basic heads up. Um, Guys, I knew the whole time I was black. I was just messing around with you guys. I hope you guys understood that, and hope you guys didn't get very offended by it. Also, something else that's very important. Like back when I did it all the time, like I would get so many different responses about it. Like I would sit there and hear people talk about me from the sly. Some people were friends, some people weren't friends, and like they would make comments like, "Oh, he just does it for attention. Oh, he just does it because he's so and so and so. Oh, he does it because he likes NASCAR. Oh, he does it because he thinks from Mississippi." I never did that because of any of those things. I did it because I want to do that. The reason I really did it was because my whole life I've been taunted by the fact that I'm a NASCAR fan, by the fact that I'm a hockey fan, or at least at the time I was. It's a different story, but and also because I go hiking, I go camping, I do all this other stuff that people say is not black, and you know that but like I said, my whole life people have been doing this to me. So you have like about 17 years people doing that to you constantly, family members doing it to you, people at school doing it to you, people that don't really know you like that doing it to you. It gets annoying, and I really did it to turn people off and like calling me white. And I figured, hey, if I go ahead and pretend I'm white and piss enough people off, maybe they'll stop calling me white. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but at the same time, it does make a little bit of sense because if I know you're gonna say, "Oh, so you're gonna go ahead and amuse them and go ahead and do the same thing that they just basically saying that you were doing in the first place," and I understand that, but really another main factor for doing it was because um, basically I'm trying to figure the best way to say it, but racism is very big in this country, and most people don't know that. And not only that, most people only think that is between black people and white people. And I want to make that very known. And first off, I want to see how people would feel if they had racism go up to them personally. So the whole, I'll call people the N word all the time, Jigaboo, Jungle Bunny, the whole 9 yards. And that whole stuff, I was trying to see how people will react to that. And it would be crazy how the main ones talking about me for doing what I did would go back, and sometimes it wouldn't even be more than, it wouldn't even be 2 minutes to be exact. And they would go around talking about somebody of a different race. For example, my friend Bombsy, I would hear people talk about him because he's Indian. I mean, I know he's smart and everything, and the Indian joke because he's smart. And I know that's not really too racist, like a bad thing. I mean, that's a good thing. You have a whole group of people being called smart because it's just smart and they're just beasts at math or whatever. I mean, that's one thing, but it's still a stereotype. And I want this to show people that, hey, you can't go around calling me racist, calling me the most racist person you've ever met. If you do the same darn thing I do, just to different people. That's something I wanted to really let people understand when I was doing that. Another thing, and sorry, my dog's in the way too. Um, but one other thing, I would hear so many people coming to me saying, oh, he did this whole thing because he saw us on the Boondocks. Oh, that whole little Reveal Lago thing because Uncle Ruckus. To be honest with you guys, yes, I watched the Boondocks. I've been watching it since 7th or 8th grade. I watched every episode, but I had the whole idea didn't even come from the Boondocks. In fact, when they actually started the whole thing back in 8th grade, I didn't even watch the Boondocks like that. It was just a show that I would occasionally watch, and the episodes that I watched didn't have Uncle Ruckus in them. So the whole actual Reveal Lago thing started off with if you guys remember Michael Opoku, we started off with him, and we on my Xbox Live account, it had my username and not I was about to say Oscar, but Michael, he would call me the whitest nigga you know, and I put down my Xbox 360 as my quote, and from there on, I was like, yeah, the whitest nigga you know. So I started thinking. I said, what did that thing that Michael Jackson had? What was that called? And I couldn't think of what it was called, but I just went on going like, hey, I really am white. I just had the opposite of what Michael Jackson had. I didn't know it was called vitiligo. I didn't even know about the revitiligo thing on Boondocks for the longest. Even after I seen many episodes with Uncle Ruckus in it, I just thought he was just crazy and just hated black folks. But I didn't see the episode where I did see it, but I didn't notice what he said it inside the episode, if we want to be exact about it. But on the second episode, when he was talking to Granddad, and he said, I have vitiligo, and that's the opposite of what Michael Jackson had. I didn't notice that until halfway through 9th grade, and that's when I officially started saying, I have vitiligo. So I did not have any intention of stealing from the Boondocks. I didn't even think about Uncle Ruckus by doing it. And that's another thing. So many people came up to me saying that I was stealing Uncle Ruckus jokes. I mean, I know it's not something to brag about, but all the jokes, but like a very small portion of things I would say, I made them up on the spot. And I mean, once again, I'm not trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm proud that I made all these jokes on the spot and I promoted racism. I'm not. Once again, what I said a couple of minutes ago about how I was trying to make people get turned off of racism and notice about racism, that was the only intention. And once again, I only used like a small bit of Uncle Ruckus jokes. Like I would say, like mulatto people, I was like, you little half and half. I call people niggas because I saw him use that. And other things.
Song.
Oh yeah, the little nigger song.
Colored.
Okay, calm down. One other thing, the only reason I did it so long was once again to, I really wanted to see how people would be affected by me doing this. And I actually tried to stop back in sophomore year. And what happened was so many people knew about it that basically made it hard for me to stop. And I know someone's going to come in here like, oh, you going to listen to everybody else and just follow what they do and stuff, just doing what you need to do yourself. And it wasn't that. It was just that when everybody knows that you've been doing this thing for over a year and you just try to stop all of a sudden. And once again, I tried to stop. I tried my hardest. Like, especially after New Year's, I said, I'm done. And definitely after Daytona 500, people would come up to me like saying a bunch of stuff. And they were expecting me to say a racist comment. But I said, hey, I'm not going to do it because back at the time, that was when the whole NASCAR season started over. And I said, basically, when this NASCAR season stops, I'm done with racism. Period. But, when so many people like was just sitting there and asked, hey, Jack, why don't you do a racist joke for me? Or, hey, aren't you the guy that hates black folks? That whole thing. And I tried my hardest to stop. And I know to most people it didn't seem like I did. And when you keep getting comments where people expect you to do something, I mean, I would sit there, I would just have a basic conversation, and I would be like they would say something, and like I would just go like, oh, I don't do that because, like for example, my friend said something crazy about something at a party, and like, oh, I don't do that because I'm Christian, but because I've been saying I don't do that because I'm white for the longest, they actually would imply that I was gonna say, oh, I don't do this because I'm white, and they would take that as negative, and they would hate me for that. But once again, actually, all I was trying to say was like, I don't do this because I'm Christian or something on the lines of that, and that really hurt. And I guess the biggest reason I did it was, besides what I said earlier, was just because if you guys haven't noticed anything about me for the past 2.5 years, is that I don't really care what nobody has to say about me. Once again, I know you guys are going to go in and say, oh, so you did this whole thing because people were talking about you about NASCAR and hockey and all this other stuff. But how are you going to say that you don't care about that and you still did this? But that's not the point. I don't want to hear none of that when I'm done with this. Basically, you guys have seen me do some of the craziest things for homecoming. The craziest things outside of homecoming. I sat there painting myself as a cow. Well, not even painted myself. I put Sharpie on my face and made myself a cow over the summer. just to get free Chick-fil-A all day. I sat here and I had a brown paper bag over my head today because I hate the Saints, and the Saints game is on Sunday, and I was basically did a huge diss to the Saints. I came in school looking like a Rick James, John Travolta, 1970s disco crossover type thingy for homecoming this year. I painted myself blue, my whole face and hair twice for my own robotics competition and for homecoming. And I sat there in the rain all day. I really don't care what nobody has to say. So if you guys haven't learned that by now, then something's wrong with you. And that's basically it. You know, I mean, I have nothing else to say. If you want to leave a comment, go ahead and leave one. This is going to be on Facebook and YouTube, by the way. And you guys are probably going to figure that out by the time you're watching it. But, I mean, this guys, the basic moral of the story is, just stop the racism, okay? Because racism really isn't good. And I know we all know that. We've all learned that our whole lives. But I really want you guys to just sit there and think about it for a second. I mean, when you sit there and talk about somebody, for example, how people would sit there and call NASCAR fans rednecks. Yeah, we are. But at the same time, that's still a derogatory term. It's just as derogatory as a white person call you a nigger. So, would you want to go up there and call a white person redneck, and have him call you nigger? You know, that's the thing. So just think about that next time you have anything to say bad about somebody. French fries. I mean, we're all human. We're all made by the same creator. Whoever you believe is who you believe. You know, just we're all the same. So just think about that. And that's it. Go ahead and turn it off, Angelica. Alright. So somebody just asked me this question. They just brought it to my attention. Yeah. So I just found out a way to put this in summary. So my family sort of did the same thing I did for the past 2 years, and I'm gonna talk about that real quick. Basically, my cousin and my sister Angelica, they came in and they started doing the same thing I did. And before anybody gets mad at them, I put the whole blame on myself because I guess I was a big influence on them. And I thought they were old enough to figure out that I was joking around, but obviously they didn't. And just for the safety of them, they really don't know what they're talking about. I'm not saying that just to protect them. Like, I'm legit serious. They have no idea what they're talking about. Like, when I did my whole racist thing, I had stuff to back myself up. And if you would look it up, it would actually make sense. They just go around saying, oh yeah, I'm white. Oh yeah, my name is Elizabeth, even though my name is Angelica. My real name is Elizabeth because I'm white. Oh yeah, I don't eat pork because I'm white. And, oh yeah, Mr. White Man. Oh yeah, fuck black folks. Oh yeah, that whole stuff. And yeah, it didn't make any sense at all. So if you see them at all and you get offended, I apologize. I didn't mean to have a big influence on them. I didn't personally go up to them and say, oh, you guys should hate black people, because I'd do it too. And that whole thing, because that was another cause of me trying to stop as soon as possible, because after I found out that they were doing it, after I had been doing it for about a year and a half, I knew I had to stop, because even though I was joking around about having an influencer group, and a group of white folks with me that would we had an organization that basically hated black folks and tried to basically stop all nigger shit, as I put last year. I wanted to make sure you guys know that I wasn't serious, and I'm sorry once again if they offended you, my family, and yeah, so I just had to add that in there.